So we're going to do a little bit of work in Photoshop, and in order to do that, I've got an image down here on my desktop, so I'm just going to move the screen over a little bit so you can see it. I've got this photograph that I took of the hallway, and I'm going to open it in Photoshop. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the background layer and duplicate it. Once I've said OK to that, I'm actually going to go up to Image, go into Adjustments, and then I'm going to go to where it says black and white, and I'm going to convert my photo into a black and white photo. The next thing I'm going to do is go up to New Layer, and I'm going to create a purple color because eventually I'm going to do a monochromatic purple tone in my drawing. Now I can't actually see right now with the way that I have the screen the color selector. So what I'll need to do is I need to go into my windows and I'm going to select where it says color, and literally the color swatch will pop up. And since I've choose purple so often, purple's already selected for myself there. Once I've selected that, and I can actually take the color palette and bring it down here so it'll actually pop up for me if I want it. Then I'm going to go into Edit and I'm going to say Fill, and I'm going to fill that layer that I just created with this foreground color because that's actually where the color went. You can see it's in the foreground here, and if my screen was large enough it would actually be visible over there as well. And I'll bet you if I click on nope, it's not letting me see it that way. So what I am going to do is I'm going to say OK, and it actually made my entire screen purple. It filled that whole layer with purple. I'm not going to worry about that though, because I'm just going to go in the opacity and I can literally type whatever percentage I want to use. I'm going to say 50% so that I can see a monochromatic tone on my screen that I have here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to File and I'm going to say Save As. And I want to actually keep this Photoshop document. It's going to put it on my desktop for right now. I'm fine with that, so I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to say the maximize capability is OK as well. Then I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to unclick my purple for a second, because I also want to save as a JPEG, and I might want to print my photo black and white, so I'm going to make sure that the purple is off of it when I'm trying to say JPEG. And you notice how I actually went in the format and I'm actually clicking on JPEG. It's still saying hallway example, and I'm going to say save. Oops, I actually have to call this hallway example, and I'm just going to name it best for JPEG there, simply because I don't want to cover over my original photo, which is what it would have done if I wanted to say replace like that. Sometimes when you first save in Photoshop, if it doesn't know how large you want an image, it's probably going to put it at about 8. I would recommend saving it at 12, which is the maximum. It's also as far over as the toggle can go, and then you're going to want to say OK. Another thing that you might want to check is you're going to want to check your image size. So for example, I forgot to do that on my image as I was working, and we notice how I'm still in my PSD, because as I'm saving as, it's actually not saving over what I'm doing, it's making a new file when I save as. So I'm going to actually make this an 11, because if we think about how the printers work, printers actually use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. But what I'll notice is that if I make it 11, this is 8.25. So again, it was 8.5 by 11. That's actually going to work for me. So I'm going to make the resolution 300 and I'm going to say OK. And it's actually going to convert my photo into something that I can print. The way that I took the photo with my camera, it was like 56 inches big, but it was only 72 resolution. And when we make art, we need a high resolution, and then we just need to adjust the size of the actual image. The next thing that I'm going to want to do is I want to go over to where it says print, which is all the way down on the file option. And once the print queue comes up, we want to make sure that we are in the D109 color printer. And again, you can actually see my entire image, and that is because earlier I actually scrolled down and I clicked on scale to fit media, and here you actually saw it shrink just a little bit more for me. One other thing I need to be aware of is the layout. This is not a portrait image, it is a landscape image, so I want to make sure I'm selecting landscape, and then I would actually go and press print. And again, right now it's off of the page, so I can't actually do that. Oh, there, if I went full screen, I can actually see that I can print now. Because Photoshop and the printer need to talk to each other, you're going to get another print dialog box, and it's actually going to ask you a couple of questions, and if you click on the don't show again, it's only going to give you 2 windows. Otherwise, sometimes it'll give you 4 windows, and there's a way to get it so that it's only 2. Again, I know it's weird, but it's Photoshop is now talking to the printer. We do want D109 color printer, and when we go to say print, it's actually going to pop up down here on the bottom, and the printer is actually going to start to work. What we're actually going to do once it's popped up like that is we're going to go into the corner of the art room, and we're going to actually go pull our printer off of the paper. I might want to also print mine in purple so that I can see how the pastels or oil pastels are going to react to my drawing that I'm trying to make, and it'll just kind of give me an idea of what to do rather than only doing it black and white. And I definitely don't want all of the colors that are in here, because all of the colors are going to be way too hard for the first time of actually drawing something the way that it looks in life. It's much easier if you take the color out, and then you can literally put a filter over the top to just show or fill in color to show you what it's going to look like in monochromatic. And there you go.